On the Pitch podcast. I'm Guy Fagan, and with me today I've got comedian and West Ham supporter, Louie Green. Welcome, Louie. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Yeah, doing all right. Just trying to keep my head down and my spirits up, you know. So we're going to be talking all things West Ham United. And first of all, though, how's it going in lockdown?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I've kind of kept myself busy with writing and things like that. Obviously, the Hammers are doing quite well, so that's cheered me up through lockdown as well. But other than that, you know, sort of much the same as everyone else, really. Just want to get out and about and, yeah, just get going again, really.
Sound quite positive, quite upbeat. So for anyone who's not familiar with your comedy and what you do as a performer, can you give us a bit of a flavour of what to expect?
Yeah. I'm sort of. I always sort of say I'm a bit more of an observational comedian. I tell stories, but my biggest thing is like I'm observational, and I like to get involved with the audience and stuff like that. Have a bit of banter with them. To be honest, one of the reasons I haven't done many Zoom gigs over lockdown was because I like the audience. I sort of feed off the audience, and if I haven't got that there, it's really difficult to get that same buzz. And I'd almost like rather not be doing it and not have the audience there. So yeah, I'm a very interactive comic. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's great fun. But yeah, that's kind of what to expect from me, really. Just as I get referred to as quite a bit of a cheeky chappy on stage. So I suppose, you know, I don't know, maybe it's the East London in me.
So what sort of venues do you like to perform at in normal times? Are there any kind of favourite venues, favourite rooms?
Yeah, probably Liverpool Hot Water Comedy Club. Everyone's heard of it. Yeah, it's beautiful room. I was quite lucky just before lockdown. I started to sort of get into some of the bigger clubs as well. And there's a real difference between the open mic circuit and a comedy club. So anywhere real intimate, somewhere that's up for comedy, just anyone that's up for a laugh, really. They're the sort of rooms I like to be in. I've done some bigger gigs as well. I did a freshers gig, and I was supported Reece James, and there was like 1,200 in the room, and it just wasn't as nice. It didn't feel as intimate, and that I didn't have as much fun there as I do at comedy clubs. So like, yeah, real purpose-built comedy clubs are the rooms that I want to be in. My favourite one, a gig in Colchester actually, run by a guy called Carl, Big Cheese Comedy they're called, and it's in the actual football club, and the room's 300 people, which sounds massive, but they're all in this little room, and they're so intimate, and they're on top of you, and they're just there for a laugh, and it's so warm, and you just have so much fun in there. Really, that was easily one of my favourite gigs, and that was probably my favourite room. I'd go back there every weekend if I could.
Okay, so Big Cheese in Colchester.
Yeah.
All right. So once we get back into those venues, that's definitely one to check out. I'll have a look at that one. So, of course, you are a West Ham fan. Can you tell us about your earliest memory supporting West Ham?
So I was quite a late bloomer to be a West Ham fan because I live in Ipswich and all my family are Ipswich Town fans. And my old man is a Nottingham Forest fan. So it was like both teams are pretty shit. So I was like, I've got to pick a team that are half decent here. And at the time, West Ham had some good players, like Di Canio was playing for them. And I was like, and I saw Di Canio score the wonder goal on TV. And I was like, I'm going to support West Ham. Little did I know that we're actually quite a shit team as well.
Okay.
So we had, quite a bit of misery really becoming a West Ham fan. But my earliest memory was probably Di Canio scoring that goal actually, and me going, "Wow!" I can't even remember if I saw it. Like, I think it might have even been like on a replay that I saw it on like a Sky Sports channel. But that was that goal that made me go, "I want to be a West Ham fan." So that's
fantastic. So that would have been the Harry Redknapp era.
Probably. Yeah, Redknapp era. Yeah. Took a risk on old Di Canio, didn't he?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's a character as well. But yeah, a lot of talented players there, wasn't there? You had Joe Cole. I think you had Carrick then, didn't you?
Michael Carrick, something else.
Yeah.
So mark my words on this, Michael Carrick, future best manager in the world.
Mm.
See it coming. I think everything that's happening at Man United at the moment is Carrick and not Solskjaer.
Okay, it's just kind of behind the scenes. See, Solskjaer's kind of just fronting it, really.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
I think.
And what's been your biggest high, Louis, supporting West Ham?
I'm stuck between two. So that's when we went up through the playoffs and Vazte scored the goal and we went up back into the Premiership. We're playing Blackpool. What a game that was. That was quite an emotional time. Or I went to Everton West Ham and it was James Collins' last ever game at West Ham. And
okay,
like, although, you know, it was a sad moment and we were gutted to see James Collins go, like an absolute, the Ginger Pele, as we call him. We drew 2-2 that game, and a particularly good game. But the energy in the stadium, he'd done the lap of honour and he was crying, and there was West Ham fans, big burly East London blokes bawling their eyes out, and there was just a magic about that day. So that was probably up there with the promotion back into the Premiership, because as a West Ham fan, you don't get many highs, let's be honest. It's normally lows. We're normally fighting against relegation, or it's a bit different this year, which is weird. But yeah, so they were 2 times that really stick out for me as a Hammer.
With you on not many highs, being a Tranmere Rovers fan myself.
Oh, really?
Okay. And what's been your biggest low while supporting the Hammers?
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to say, like, the Swedish, Magnusson, the owner, when we nearly went into bankruptcy and in a liquidation. It was around the time that we started signing players like Carlos Tevez, and we started getting into all dodgy deals and things like that. And it was a real worry, because it was the first time I ever sort of sat there and went, are we going to have a club at the end of this? I think that was probably even a harder time than the relegations, if I'm honest, because you could see the club being torn apart from the inside. And that was really, really tough. A lot of people say that, like, the new owners are difficult and they want the new owners out. But personally, I think they've stabilised the club, if anything. They've done it in an unpopular way. But the lowest point is definitely, without a doubt, the when we got taken over. I'm pretty sure he's Swedish, but when they came in, they really they tucked us up really good. And to be fair, and that was a real crap time to be a West Ham fan. When we're appointing managers like Avram Grant. Yeah, so that was a dark day.
Okay. And can you tell us about your funniest ever player? There's a few in there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's quite a few recent ones as well, because like I checked Kouyaté, who's now at Crystal Palace. Like, a real sad time seeing him go, because watching him, like, I used to have him on social media, and like, he had so much banter, and he was playing pranks on the players, and he was so funny to watch. Carlton Cole is another one, had me in absolute stitches. When he re-signed for West Ham, when we were like in striker crisis, and he said, he basically said he'd play for us for free. And he came back into training, and one of the coaches called him fat, and he posted a picture of him on Twitter, like, ripped, 6-pack, everything. And he was like, what part of this is fat? And I just sat there thinking, like, the audacity to say that to a coach, or even to say that to a guy that's come back and played for us for virtually free. So I really, really enjoyed him. And then I like Mark Noble as well, like, proper club legend. He's brilliant. I love the way he mugs off Tottenham Hotspurs all the time. Like, every interview he's in, if he gets a chance to have a shot at Tottenham, he's just on it. And I love that. Them three, they're probably my the funniest players that I've seen in the years.
Yeah, Di Canio was pretty funny as well, wasn't
he? He was a rare one. I tell you, I never make out that geezer, because he was like such a good footballer. And you'd sit there thinking, you'd watch him play and you think, you nasty bugger. Like, but then he'd do something like go in for that challenge with the goalkeeper, and instead of score the goal, he picks the ball up, makes sure the keeper's all right when he was at Sheffield Wednesday. And you think, oh, actually, he's a decent geezer. So with him, it was more like you were just unsure what Di Canio was going to turn up on that day. But I do like Di Canio in the interviews. He'd go off on one. I think he's brilliant.
All right. In terms of like fans, maybe people you go the game with, or people you've seen at matches, who's the funniest fan?
So this is at the end. Like, there was an old boy. Russell Brand's a lad. No, we went to. So when I went to the Everton West Ham game a couple of years back, there was this old boy there, and I'd never seen him before. And I always sit in the same seats, but there was this old boy there, and I don't know if he'd borrowed a season ticket or someone had resold their season ticket or what. And you know, when you sit, you must have seen this, when you sit in the stands and you listen to a fan next to you, and you all you can think is, what are you watching? Like, literally, what are you? And like, he's sitting there, and I remember Arthur Masaki was playing in this game, and Arthur Masaki was the other side of the pitch. The ball comes across. Mark Noble's put it out of play from an awful pass. And this old boy stands up and he starts throwing all this abuse at Arthur Masaki. And I was like, so I turned around to him. I said, you do realise that weren't Arthur Masaki that did this? And he was like, I don't care. I just hate the bloke. And for that to happen once, I was like, yeah, that's fine. But I reckon he must have slagged off about 6 players in the West Ham team. And it made me go, why are you even a West Ham fan? Like, you obviously just hate us. But he was easily the funniest guy. And by the end of the game, he was so drunk he'd actually fallen asleep in his seat. And he missed the lap of honour from Ginger Pele.
Okay.
And all the fans had just like started walking out of the stadium. They'd just left this old boy asleep with his arms crossed, nodding off. And that was by far the funniest fan that I've ever seen.
Okay. Great stuff. Do you ever go away with West Ham?
I've been to a few away games.
Have you got any funny stories from away days?
Yeah, went to. I nearly got tucked up in Old Trafford, because I went down to. So, mate, how many years? It must have been about 6 years ago. Got a couple of tickets for Man United West Ham, but I was going with a mate of mine who's a Man United fan, and he'd managed to secure the tickets in the home end. So he said to me, he goes, I'll book all the hotels and all of that sort of stuff, and literally just chuck me the money for your ticket and come up with it. But he said to me, under no circumstances are you going to come into the stand wearing your West Ham shirt. So I thought I'll be a little bit clever. So I've got my number 6 Bobby Moore shirt on from England. Because I thought that's a little bit cloak and dagger, isn't it? So anyway, we arrive at our hotel, and we're I don't know, 3 or 4 hours before the game. Get into our rooms. I put my Bobby Moore shirt on, and I'm like, and I'm proud to be a West Ham fan. Like, I'll bowl about in a shirt if we've lost 7-0 the day before. So this hotel we were staying was a bit rough, and there was like a sports bar underneath it. And I've stood there. I've got me England shirt on with the number 6, and I bowled downstairs thinking, like, here we go. And I swear to you, we get into this bar, and I reckon every single Man United hooligan is in this bar drinking downstairs. I have never put a coat on so quick in my entire life. So we've got out of the bar and we've headed to the game. And my mate's said to me, look, please, 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 whatever you do, just behave yourself while you're up there. So we've got up to the stand, and we actually we lost 2-1 that game. No, did we lose? Yeah, we lost 2-1, and there was a few controversial decisions. And Wayne Rooney got sent off. And all of the Man United fans are standing there going, the referee's a wanker. And literally it all went silent, and I just stood up and took my shirt off, and I went, I like him. Like that. And everyone just went mental. And Kevin Nolan scored an equaliser in the last minute of the game, which was later disallowed for offside. and I've jumped up on the seat and I'm fucking going mental, like, and then like all of a sudden they then give it offside and everybody's just absolutely hammering me in the stand because like I thought we'd equalised, and there's me giving it some in me England shirt with Bobby Moore on the back. And then all of a sudden, all the Man United fans are just giving me all this grief. It was so much fun, and they were actually really good sports about it. But there was a few points. My mate, who's a Man United fan, reckons he'll never come to football with me again.
Okay, so you need an armed escort out of there, though.
Yeah.
All right. So for anybody who wants to kind of find you on social media, wants to look up your stuff, I don't know if you have any kind of YouTubes or Instagrams or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
How do they find you on social media, Louie?
So yeah, I'm Louie Green Comedy on everything. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. There's a couple of old videos on YouTube, but to be honest, they're when I first started out, so they're not worth watching. But yeah, get on Facebook, social, and just it's Louie Green Comedy, mate. You'll find me. I'm the only one.
Okay, great. So look out for Louie Green and possibly Colchester. What was that club called?
Big Cheese Comedy Club.
Big Cheese Comedy. You heard it here first. So when we're out of lockdown, yeah, you look at the Big Cheese and you might see Louie performing his set there again.
Yeah, you might well do.
Great stuff. Well, it's been great to spend a bit of time with you, Louie, and talk about West Ham. And I wish you and the Hammers the best for the rest of the season.
Lovely. Cheers, boss. I'll speak to you soon.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye.